Welcome to the XtremeVision software tutorial. In this video, we'll be discussing running playback files and the basic program features of XtremeVision. First things first, make sure that you've downloaded and installed the XtremeVision trial software from SkyVisionXtreme.com. Also, make sure that you've contacted SkyVision Xtreme to get your trial license file. The software installer will create an icon on your desktop that looks like this. A black box with a blue X in the middle. Double-click the icon to open XtremeVision. This is the screen that you will see when you open XtremeVision. Before we launch into the live application, we need to queue up a playback file since we're not connected to a UAT. To do this, click the Program Setup button. Then tab over to Playback. Check the Playback Captured Data box. Also check the Enable Continuous Playback box so that the file will play in a loop. Next, click Select Captured Data. Choose one of the trial log files that you downloaded along with the trial install. Click Open. Notice the playback interval box at the bottom of the pop-up window. This will allow you to speed up or slow down the playback files, and this is really handy for reviewing long captured flights. But for now, we'll just leave it in the default setting. Now click OK. Next, we're going to launch XtremeVision by pressing the middle button. You may see no UAT displayed on the screen momentarily as it starts the playback file. At the bottom of the screen, just off-center to the right, is the Playback Control menu that lets you stop and start playback files. It is important to note that to open a new playback file, you have to stop the current playback file. Now, up in the left corner of the screen is a block of information about your aircraft, including altitude, ground speed, and vertical speed. Just to the right of that is the UAT control panel, which we'll discuss in more detail later. Then, across the top in the center is your track. In the upper right corner is information about the UAT message, the ground station message, which is indicated as RS, as well as the timestamp on the data. The horizon line is GPS derived and turns and banks and climbs with your aircraft. The crosshairs indicate your direction of flight in 3D. You'll notice that each 3D traffic target has a text block of information, including their distance from you, their relative altitude, their track, their speed, and their vertical trend indicated by a black arrow. The screen can be panned 360 degrees in 3D by touching and dragging either left or right. You'll notice that the crosshairs disappear and the view direction indicator appears in the upper right corner of the screen. You can pan a full 360 degrees. The view will time out and return to the straight ahead view after a few seconds. Now let's look at the 2D traffic display, which is accessed through the button in the lower right corner of the screen. This window shows a top-down view of the traffic around you. Your aircraft is in the center, and the window's extents are user-adjustable, as is the warning ring. The 2D window can be enlarged to get a better view of traffic in 2D as well. The 2D window also has buttons that allow you to look in 90, 180, and 270 degrees on the 3D screen without having to touch and drag the 3D view. Now we'll move on to the weather features of XtremeVision. The button with the X and the lightning bolt in the bottom left corner will bring up the closest reporting station's text weather. You'll notice that the METARs and TAFs are displayed in plain English, and the View Raw button, shown here, will allow you to toggle these messages between plain English and encoded messages. You can also look up text weather from a reporting station by clicking the Look Up WX button. This will open a screen that allows you to manually enter the reporting station or select it from a list. Holding the delete button will clear out everything except for the K to make it easier to look up text weather in flight. The next button over on the 3D screen is the NextRad button, which is indicated on the button as an N. So let's look at some of the buttons in the NextRad window. First up is the Hand button, which allows you to drag and pan the map. The button right below the hand will center the map back around your aircraft. The next button down, which looks like a cross with arrows, allows you to move the minimized NextRad window around the screen. The button below that maximizes or minimizes the NextRad window. Then you have the zoom in and zoom out buttons. Another cool feature is that if you tap anywhere on the map, it will bring up text weather for all reporting stations within 30 nautical miles of where you tapped. The last button on the NextRad window is the Flight Planning button, which allows you to plot a flight plan on the NextRad map. To begin, select Create Edit. Then tap the PPOS button to make the starting point your present position, then add a waypoint. Notice the distance to destination appears as soon as you add the waypoint. Now click Activate to plot the flight plan. To delete a waypoint, simply highlight it by clicking, then click Delete. You can add as many waypoints as needed, and you can move them around by highlighting them and clicking the up and down arrows next to the table in the flight planning window. Check out the next tutorial video for more information on customizing the settings in Xtreme Vision.